forgot to unmute myself. I'm a pro. Right. This is just a random time to do a stream, but alright. See if anyone comes in. Hello. Welcome to whatever the heck this is. Who knows? I don't know where we're gonna start. So we could really read anything. God. I should have put a link in the description. Oh well. I feel like it. This stuff is like really old. I still get people looking at some of it from time to time, which is the weirdest part. No. Gosh. Maybe we're gonna start with this. Books. Very much books. I feel like we have to start with this one because it's my most popular out of all of this. Out of everything I've written. At least on Wattpad. So yeah, so we'll do this then. This one's Princess of the Tigers. I was still obsessed with tigers at that time. Never stopped. So the description on this one is Tian I actually never figured out how I would pronounce the name. So I said like Tinaria for some reason. So I'm just gonna go with that, and I don't really care. Tinaria's village burned down when she was just a baby. A tigress adopted the girl as her own, and that's how Tinaria grew up. Many years later, Tinaria fell into a trap that was set for her. I don't care. Like, Computer's just gonna keep giving me notifications, isn't it? Tinaria fell into a trap that was set for her tiger family. She was then taken in by a wealthy human man named Mr. Leon. Now, Tinaria has to face Mr. Leon's wife's hatred for her, learning how to be a proper human, and her own wonder of who she really is. So, that's great. It's a good start. So we're gonna start prologue. Someone made this cover for me. The one on this the prologue. Someone made it for me as like fan art. It's wild. Right. So the tigress watched the fire burn a small human village. She knew the humans had brought this upon themselves for invading the jungle, like so, but that was cycles ago. Oh my gosh, what is formatting? The humans were peaceful and caused no harm to the tigers. She felt for the human village, but maybe it would be best for the jungle. This is very anti-human. The fire continued to burn through the night and another day. The tigress returned to see what the village had become, ashes. She walked down the hill to the village. The fire had stopped, and nothing was left. A few huts stood, but were mainly a wall or a door frame. The tigress moved around to see if any humans survived. It's great. Of course, since the fire started in the night, no one knew. No humans survived. Oh, what dumb humans. She wasn't surprised, though. What surprised her was the faint sound of crying. Was there a human ghost crying? Impossible. Ghosts weren't real. She moved around again, the crying still there. She shook her head and tried to forget about it the best she could, but the sound grew and grew. Glasses are dirty. The crying was still there that the tigress began to look for it. I hate this. She sniffed around, but the smell of ash and soot filled her nose that she had to listen and follow. She found a partly standing hut, carefully stepped inside. Bones were buried by the ashes. Oh gosh. The tigress found a large flat rock on the floor with two skulls next to each other. This is kind of morbid. She could tell that they were mates, so she had no real proof of it. She looked at the rock. She could hear the crying under it. Why would humans put a human cub under a rock? Oh. She looked at the skulls. They knew. The mates knew about the fire, wanted to save their child by burying it in the ground. Smart. She tipped her head in respect to the skulls. May the gods give you a rich kingdom, she said, and looked back at the rock. And you include traces of lore and never talk about it again. The tigress slipped her paws under the rock and pulled. She pushed and pulled until the rock was off of what it was hiding. She looked into the secret den and climbed down. So now the crying was loud. She walked around until she found a wooden box and looked inside. The human cub lay there crying. The tigress took pity on the child and carefully picked the cub up. She crawled out of the den and proceeded to make her way back home. Then the sound of engines sounded in her ears. Humans were coming. She knew they would take the cub, but she felt like the cub needed to be in this jungle. She took off running and kept running until she got to the ruined human temple that she called home. She was greeted by her mate and explained to him the cub. They agreed to raise the cub themselves. What are you going to call her? Call her Sabina? The male tiger asked the tigress. Tinaria, Sabina answered. That's what we'll call her, Rajiv, I think. Rajiv nodded. Tinaria, that is beautiful. Oh gosh. So that's the prologue. I like how there's so many comments. Like, why? These are really old, but why? Why did people read this? Alright, chapter 1. The picture is no longer available. Okay. Cool. That's cool. I don't know what happened there. I stalked through the jungle swiftly and quietly. I wasn't as good at hunting as my siblings were, but I was swifter than them. I did have pretty good hearing, smell, and eyesight for whatever the heck I was, but my teeth and claw things weren't as good as the other tigers. But I worked with what I got, and it's what I have. It was pretty clever. I covered the parts that didn't seem like they should be seen when your character has a sense of modesty without knowing it's modesty. I used the pelts of another tiger father I'd killed because he was threatening my family. I thought it was pretty cool with a necklace of teeth and claws. Father treated me well. Probably, I can't spell. Probably because I was different. My dark and furless body only had fur on my head, and it was dark brown. It wasn't. It's not in the cover. It's orange. Why? Why was I like this? It was dark brown, not orange and black. I didn't mind though. I thought it made me special. This is awful. I moved through the trees as fast as my legs could go. I never understood why my legs were structured differently. Okay. Or why my paws were different. But I made it work, and my siblings never questioned my abilities. As soon as I got back to the rearing temple I know as home, my brothers were play fighting and didn't notice me. I snuck up behind them and pounced on them both. Oh, here we go. I keep misspelling the name. This is great. Thank you. This is really, I peaked. My 16-year-old self peaked with this. Tinaria Chasm. I'm gonna assume Chasm exclaimed with a smile. There you are. I was wondering where you went. Chasm is my older brother. Not really older. He's almost 2 cycles old, and I'm almost 12 cycles. The reason I call him older is because other tigers grow faster than I do. My other brother, Roku, is also almost 2 cycles old. Chasm was born first, but I still the oldest no matter what. Okay, good. Redesigned Tiger Princess pet. Yeah, I should do that. That is something that needs to happen. Where was I? Great, Tinaria. Please get this buffoon off of me, Roku complained. I chuckled and pulled Kazum off a rope because, you know, you can pull off a fully grown tiger. That makes sense. Maybe you need to learn how to fight back or you won't be able to fight for your own territory, I said to him with a smile. Huh, maybe I'll be like you and not ever leave, Roku snapped back, not realizing I was joking. Roku, a growl sounded from the shadows. I turned my head and saw Father there. You learn to not treat your older sister like that. Apologize to her now. I turned my head to Roku, who looked ashamed for his rude comment. Sorry, Tina. Probably gonna have to go fill up my water bottle in a bit. It's okay, Roku. I know you didn't mean it, I said with a smile. Okay. Just repeat that phrase over and over again. But it did hit me hard. I knew that I wouldn't leave my parents for a long time. Father said it was dangerous for me to be outside the territory. I knew that. But being insulted like Roku did, it really did hurt. I accepted my difference, but it doesn't mean I like it being pointed out. Soon, Mother came home with dinner and she tore a part of the prey off and tossed it to me. I caught it and ate it up. I watched as my family ate as I swallowed my meat. I felt satisfied, and I curled up in my spot and closed my eyes. I felt Mother curl up beside me to keep me warm during the night. Father curled up on the other side of me. I didn't have a thick and warm pelts like they did. Kazum and Roku curled up beside each other. It was just a normal night. In the morning, I woke up before every... That is not how you English. This tiger family, though. Yeah. This Facebook share. Anyways. It was dawn when I woke up. I slipped out between my parents. I knew they could just follow my scent if they got worried, so I took off. I wanted to explore a part of the jungle I hadn't been before. I ran quickly through the trees and slowed down once I reached the area. It was a clearing with a few small trees growing up through what looked like some sort of buildings. I went down the hill to it and looked around. Everything was green, and the trees looked healthy enough. I spotted a large rock and... Yeah, that's great. Went up to it. Beside it was a hole that caved in, so I didn't bother going. I started to make my way up the hill when I heard a loud roaring sound in the distance. I perked up and listened. It was getting closer. I knew it didn't mean anything good, so I took off running, and I went as fast as I could. Oh my god. I want to stop yawning. Hi. Saw Roku in the corner of my eye. He soon caught up to me. Tia, what's going on when you have to say your siblings' name every time you see them? I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. We need to get Mother and Father, I explained the best I could. Then I felt like I was falling and landed hard. I did fall. Go figure. Okay. I looked around. It was a pretty big hole. I looked up. Roku looked at me. Tinuia, are you okay? I think I hurt something, I said after trying to stand up but failed. Go get Father. Roku nodded and took off. My left wrist. It hurt. It looked slightly twisted, but not too much. The roaring sound got louder, and it seemed like it was coming to where I was. I sat there, hoping and praying to the gods to get my father here soon to save me. But it was too late. The roaring sound stopped, and I could barely see what looked like a human beast. I tried to hide the best I could, then I smelt Father was near. I knew he would either try to scare the humans away, fight them, or just wait. It sounded like he was waiting. I felt my heart drop when I saw the humans look down and saw me. I knew I was in trouble. The only thing I felt was fear. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go quickly fill up my water bottle. Okay, got more water. Now going to chapter 2. Yay. It's even more comics. There's like 20 chapters, by the way. I doubt we're gonna read all of it tonight, but oh well. Let's keep going. Chapter 2. No picture this time. I looked up from where I tried to hide from the humans, but there was nowhere that they couldn't see. They looked confused and surprised by my appearance. Okay, that's good spelling. And being in a trap that was meant for my family. My family. If I didn't fall in, one of them would have. This had to be the gods' work. But what else would it be? The humans must be under control of the gods, right? I didn't have time to question it because they started. I have time to question it because they started to make their own way down to receive me. Growled and hissed at them. The one male climbed out after my attempts to scare them away. A male came up to the pit and had a shiny silver stick in his hands. He aimed, and I heard my father growl and call for me. We love you, Tenoria. Please understand that we're always be your family. We love you. That's the last thing I heard before everything went black and I fell to the ground. You get tranquilized. I don't think. Can you tranquilize a human? I mean, I think so. I feel like you would want to do that to a 12-year-old. The nightmare was terrible. I felt like I was being tossed around, but never went high up. The center of the jungle fled my nose. My family's roars were only echoes in my head. I wasn't with my family. I never live a normal tribal life now because of these stupid humans. Took me away from all I ever known. I was lost now, homeless, with no hope of going home. Then I opened my eyes to find myself in another nightmare. To me, it was a nightmare. The overly soft human nest felt abnormal as I sat up and lost my balance. It was far too soft for me. I crawled off and looked at the weird colored grass. It was soft too. The humans don't like things to be hard. I must find it uncomfortable for their soft skin. My soft skin. I moved around the weird den thing. It had many weird objects around and seemed to be made of either wood or metals. I rounded everything as I moved past them. It was a pretty big den, I guess. I've seen bigger and seen smaller, but I found a stilled water standing against the wall of the den. I could see my reflection, clearer than the pool beside my family's temple den. I looked at my dark skin and hair. That's not in the cover. My eyes blended well with my round pupils. Okay. My tiger skin clothes stayed on pretty well, along with my tooth and claw necklace. I put my paw to the stilled water, but it was hard. I put my face right up to it to try to take a drink, but it didn't work either. I just realized how hungry and thirsty I was. I kept on trying to get a drink from this frozen water thing. I didn't hear the door open. I heard a laugh. I turned around to see the man who tried to climb into the trap earlier, standing there on two legs. His front paws were clearly food. I looked at him, waiting to see what he would do. Then he spoke, and I didn't understand him. "You must be a hungry lass to be trying to drink from a mirror," he spoke in a weird tongue. Of course, I didn't understand. I just stared at him. I tried to speak to him. I don't understand you, human. You dare tease me with the frozen water on this wall and then stand there with food? You're an offended 12-year-old. He didn't understand me either. Clearly I was speaking what I was taught since I was a cub, and he his own language. We couldn't communicate. I couldn't tell him to take me home to my family. I was truly stuck unless I learned his language, which is what I planned to do. After I ate, of course, I set the food down and I quickly ate the weird thing. But food was food. Father taught me that during a rough season, where we rarely had anything to eat, he taught me to be grateful for what food I get. And now I could only obey what I was taught. That made me homesick. I had to get home soon. I wouldn't be stuck with these humans, but I couldn't walk out because I didn't know where I was. I finished the food and the man took the plate that the food was on and gave me a bowl of water. I lapped it up quickly. He found my eating style amusing. That annoyed me. How did these weird creatures eat? He soon left the den and I was left alone. I wandered around where I found a transparent substance that let me look outside. A jungle was on the horizon, but that could be any jungle. It was hard to see from all the weird human den below. Below, I looked down to see that it wasn't ground level. I jumped back and looked around more. The man was back with something that he had set up in the corner beside the den. I moved closer slowly. The smell of wood came from it. The thin leaves were dirty white but had black characters on it. Not like the characters on the walls of my family's temple, but I could tell it was a form of writing that humans used. The man sat down on the wood thing beside the weird tree with writing. He had a smile like he had something planned. I didn't trust the smile, but it seemed nice and welcoming, which only creeped me out more, but soon I relaxed and sat down and looked at him. I needed to get home, and he wasn't my only way of getting out of this torture of a place. Okay, so that was that chapter. Who's still watching? Are you enjoying this? I'm not. It's weird reading my old works. Reminds me of Tarzan. Yeah. Let's try to read comments. Alright, chapter 3. Yes, I'll keep going. I put another scratch on the wooden part of my nest. It had been 2 weeks of this torture. I'm not getting anywhere with this two-legged creature. I paced around the den again. This had become the only thing to entertain me. I heard Father talking about humans before. I wasn't supposed to overhear. Father said something about humans being hunters. They stood on 2 legs and used their other 2 legs to work. They relied on weird machines and they were pretty lazy. Their senses were dull and they were slow without the machines. Thinking back to that day, I remember just looking at my reflection in the pool of water beside my family's home. I could still hear Father telling Kaz and Roku about humans. They're furless creatures that don't care about anything besides themselves. Their skin can be white like the clouds or as black as the shadows. Okay, that's not very good wording. I don't think I would use that wording today. Let's just make a note of that. Ugh. How is it dumb 16-year-old? Right, Tinaria, they look like her. Roku, Father said with a stern voice. Tinaria has as much as a tiger as you and I. Her being human is not something you need to bring up, ever. Now I look at my reflection in the hard water. Roku was right. I was human. I am a human, but I was more tiger than human. Okay, that's a lot of human. It was confusing, but I didn't trust the male human who brought me food. But he was keeping me alive, and I didn't understand why. I know humans kill tigers for their pelts. So why did they bring me here? Then the door opened. 2 men carried in a metal bowl that was large. A third came in and set down clothes on the floor, setting the large bowl down on them. The human male that feeds me and talks to me came in. He said something to them and then they left. They were replaced by 2 females who stood beside me. I moved away from them and looked at the male in confusion. He pointed to the metal bowl and I looked in. Water with bubbles. I didn't understand still. Okay. It was too small to swim in. Then the females picked me up and put me in the bowl. It was hot. Okay. I wiggled around and they kept their hold on me. Just the one was holding me and the other started cleaning with the hot, bubbly water. The male just stood there with a smile. I glared at him as water fell over my face. I hated this and I could tell this was a bath. I was just glad they kept my coverings on. I hated not having them. But these female humans... Image dropped, reconnection stable. Okay, are we still live? Okay. Okay, it's back now. Oops. Okay. I don't know where it stopped, so I don't know if anyone's still watching. Comment would be nice, so I know people are here. Getting no response. Of course, there's a delay between what I say and stream and the comments. Swoop. says 2 are watching. I know one of them is me from my tablet, so I can see the comments. Okay, now it says 3 people are watching. If you're watching, please put a comment in the chat. So I know there's people here. I'm not just talking to myself like a crazy person. Thanks. Now I have to wait. Don't really like the delay, but oh well. Choo! Hi! Welcome to my stream. Nothing exciting is happening except I'm reading my story and I'm on chapter 3. And yes, it's the tiger one. Because of course, we're gonna start reading October writing. We should start with the classic tiger story. Gotta start with that. Right. Stop. Here. Soon I placed on a cloth. I know it was rubbed by another cloth. This is really, big fan. Me too. This is really good at writing. This is amazing writing, like top tier. I should have won an award. Rubbed by another cloth until I was dry. The female slept, and the males came in and removed the large bowl and clothes. The male human who clearly owned this den stayed. I decided to give him a name since I was going to be there for a while. Decided on Totoro. I didn't really think of any of these names through. I think I used name generators in some of these. Whoops. Totoro. Okay, now it's funny. Totoro sat in his usual place and flipped a leaf over that had more weird characters on it. Boy, girl, man, woman. Totoro spoke. I gave him a confused look and he tried again. He pointed at himself and spoke. Boy. I looked at him and watched as he repeated the word. I tried to copy what he was saying. But boy. This is fun. This is the fun. Boy, he smiled and laughed. Boy, he pointed at to me now. Girl. I repeated, feeling his excitement. He laughed and jumped up. She's learning. Julie's learning. I smiled. Hey, Julia. Hey, Ju. Hey, Juju. You're in this story. I forgot that was her nickname. Oh, gosh. Right, chapter 4. I still don't understand why there's so many views on this. Cat, dog, bird, frog, horse. I said as Totoro showed me pictures on the papers. Good, very good. Totoro said, then pointed to my nest. What is that? I turned around and looked. Bed. Good. That. Window. And that. Stilled frozen water. Of course. Of course, that's what she'll figure out how to say those words before a mirror. That's great. Logic. This was peak writing. I'm glad. Glad you are, Jew. That is a mirror, he said, clearly trying not to laugh. I glared at him and started to go to my bed. Totoro got up and said something I didn't understand, but left the room. I curled up on my bed and stared at the door. It has now been one phase, or a month as humans say. I got closer to my freedom, but still not close enough. This is peak writing. My ability to talk human was limited, and most of the way I communicated with Totoro was through facial expressions. I knew it would take a long time to even ask him to take me home to my family. I heard the door open. I jerked up to look to see who was coming in. A little human cub, 2 human cubs, came in. Okay, cool. A boy and a girl. The boy looked older than the girl. I looked at them and they looked at me. The boy said something to the girl that seemed to be a warning of sorts. The girl had a box with her and said something to the boy as she put the box down. Curiosity filled my mind as she opened the weird box. I slid off my bed and moved over to her and looked in. There were strange objects inside that looked weird. The girl looked at me and smiled. She said something and pulled out the weird object. She opened one and pulled out a thing that was made of wood with and fur thing. But put it in the powdery thing she had pulled out. Then started to put it on my face. Oops. I was even confused for a second. There was a bunch of details in this story that I just don't remember. It kind of felt like the one time I put mud on my face to try and make it look like I had fur on my face. I was about 6 years according to humans at the time. I was confused. I didn't understand why I didn't look like other tigers. I didn't understand until that day when Father explained to my brothers about humans, and until I woke up in this den. Now this human cub was putting his powder on my face along with other powders and things. I pulled away and started to rub it all off. The girl seemed upset, and the boy said nothing. So she hit him. Okay, logic. That's true sibling relationships. I rubbed off what I could, and the door opened again. Totoro stood there and said something at a tone that didn't seem happy. I looked over to see the cubs looking down, ashamed of what they had done. I didn't see anything wrong, though, but they knew I was in here. Were there other humans in this den? I ran to the window and tried to find a way to open it. I didn't want to be here down on the ground. I glared at him again, and then looked at the cubs. Totoro and the cubs left the room, and I heard a click from the door. I didn't know what the click meant, but it didn't sound good. It's not going to really help if the lock's on the outside of the door. Or in the hallway where the kids can still unlock it, unless there's a key. Just saying. I learned the language plan. The gods clearly wanted this to be. I glared at the sky, then got back onto my bed before curling up. I looked out the window and watched the blues without the Jesus in the way. Stars made me think back to when I was 8 years old, and it was just me, mother, and father. They were showing me the stars to tell me how the gods patterned them like so. I smiled as the stories came to mind. Then, the time I told the stories to Hiroko Chasm. The memories of the stories made me sick. The smell of me. I crawled back onto my bed. I moved the cloth that I kept wearing over me and closed my eyes. I couldn't stand not being out in the open, not like this. I had to have fresh air, grass, trees, dirt, home. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Now wasn't the time to stress over it. Now I had to go to sleep so I can think better. Thick. I'm so good at English. Oh my gosh. That's why when Totoro comes, I'll try to tell him that I wanted to go outside. Then maybe he'll let me. The door opened. Oh man, again. opened and I was sitting next to the window. Totoro came and looked at the window, then back at him. He smiled and shook his head. Thick. I sighed and moved over to where he sat. He turned the paper and spoke. Names, he pointed to himself. Jonathan Leon. Leon, I repeated. He nodded. Mr. Leon. Mr. Leon, I repeated again. So that was his real name. He pointed at me. Julie. No. I was confused why I said no to him. Human was coming naturally to me, and I figured out how to tell him the name I was given. I sat him straight, pointed to myself, and said, Tina-Ria. Tina-Ria, he repeated and nodded. Tina-Ria is your name? Yes, and yes, you are Mr. Leon, I said, then pointed to the window, keeping my eyes on him. Mr. Leon, take Tina-Ria outside. Air, grass, trees, fun. Yeah, that's how quick they learn. He nodded. Alright, let's go then, he said, standing up. He opened the door wide and I ran out. I looked around all the weird human objects that were around. I followed Mr. Leon down the steps and then down a corridor. Then I was outside. I ran in another territory that was marked by sticks of trees. The grass felt nice and cool under my paws. I felt happy. I rolled around in glee. Okay. English. Mr. Leon seemed entertained by this. He was laughing. I shot a glare at him. He stopped, then I continued to play around. The two cubs soon came out when I stopped. Mr. Leon pointed to the boy. Thomas, then the girl Isabel. I looked at them. Thomas, Isabel, I repeated the weird human names. I knew this one step closer to me getting home. But I was also a step away from being a tiger. I was becoming human. This is terrible grammar. I'm saying it's really bad grammar. I think I'm just gonna read this one chapter and then be done because I won't stop yawning. I might do this again later. I don't know. Probably should post on Instagram next time. See, ends up going home. I have been outside the house, and I did come close a few times to asking, but each time I get close to asking, someone comes and takes Mr. Leon away. And now I'm stuck here longer, mumbling in tiger so I don't forget how to speak it with all these English lessons. I wandered to the door and saw a rope hanging beside it. How I never noticed it before is beyond me. It was a nice rope that had tassels at the end. I batted at it, then again, and again, again. I kept going back. I frowned and growled. I hooked my fingernails onto it and pulled it hard. I kept my grip on it while I chewed on it. Then the door opened. I jumped and ran to my bed. I faced the door to see a female with pale yellow hair. She wore clothing different from form. Mr. Leon and his kids wear. We looked at each other before she spoke first. Yeah. But oh, this. Well, I had a conversation with them, and other people responded. Someone was basically they were just making a comment about how fast she learned how to speak. Uh, they were judging for on that. It's like they wouldn't really make sense. I'm just like it's for plot reasons. Like people like I don't want to spend like the entire book on just how one this character learning how to speak English. Like that would get so boring.